Tuesday, February 28th. Now I've really gone and done it. I tried to escape again. This time, I didn't tell anyone else what I was doing. This time, This time, I think I've made a big mistake. I thought I'd got it all worked out. I used my head, I used logic, I used past experience. What's the problem? I asked myself, snap back and strip it down to the basics, Linus. What is the problem? Well, the problem is, he's up there, and we're down here. And as long as he stays up there, we're staying down here. Right? Right. So, why not try to get him down here? He came down before, didn't he? He likes to punish you. If you do something wrong, he punishes you. The last time you tried to escape, he got the lot of you, then came down here and took all the food away. Think about it. He came down in the lift. So he must have some kind of remote control device. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to get back up again, would he? So all you've got to do is get him down here, and then do the necessary. Just do it. So I spent Saturday and Sunday thinking and planning, and by Monday I was ready. I had a plan. Admittedly, the plan was full of holes, but the way I saw it, a plan full of holes was better than no plan at all. Step 1. I got some bin liners from the kitchen, filled a saucepan with water, and pretended to clean up my room. Wetting a cloth, wiping down surfaces, careful not to wet the cloth too much. Step 2. I stripped the sheet off my bed and took it into the bathroom. Filled the bath, put the sheet in the bath, gave it a wash. Then I took the sheet back to my room and hung it over the door to dry. Step 3. I got the jitters. I realized how holy the plan was, and I was struck with the absolute certainty that it wasn't going to work. Nothing is 100% certain, I told myself. Just ignore it. Step 4. I left my room, went over to the dining table, and picked up a chair. Then I went over to the clock on the wall and smashed it into pieces with the chair. I put the chair down and went back to my room. Step 5. I waited. I sat down on my bed and stared at the grill in the ceiling. Read my thoughts, mister, I thought. I broke your clock. Punish me. I broke your clock. If you want to carry on messing with the time, you're going to have to come down here and fix it. Did you hear what I said? I broke your clock. Come on. Punish me. What's the matter? You scared? Come on. Click. The lights go out. I hear voices outside. What's going on? Shit, what now? Hey! Then, knock knock. Linus? It's Jenny. Go back to your room, Jen, I called out. Just stay calm. It'll be all right. What's happening? Nothing. Just go back to your room. Get into bed and lie still. Then I hear the hissing sound. I look up at the grill. I can smell it. The smell of chemicals growing stronger. Step 6. I grab a bin liner from under my bed and rip a hole in it to make a collar. Pull the black plastic over my head and roll it tightly around my neck. Grab the damp sheet from the door. Tear off a strip, dip it in the water-filled saucepan. Wind the strip around my mouth and nose. And now the chemical smell is getting stronger. The air is pungent, gassy, hard to breathe. Eyes stinging. I drape the damp sheet over my head. Wrap it round and round and round. Over my head, eyes, mouth, nose. Tuck it into the bin liner collar. Breathe easy. Pour water over my cloth-wrapped head. Get into bed. Pull up the blanket. Breathe easy. Concentrate. Stay awake. Lie still. Go limp. Play dead. The gas keeps coming. Hissing in the dark. How long? 1,000. 2,000. 3,000. 4,000. Count. Concentrate. Stay awake. How long? Minutes. Getting heavy-lidded. Count. 1,000. Think. Stay awake. The hissing stops. The lights come on. I'm still alive. I'm conscious. Sick. Dizzy. Dopey. But conscious. Now I just have to wait. A minute. Keep quiet. 5 minutes. Lie still. 10 minutes. Listen. The lift door closing. Going up. Gdunk, gdunk. The lift stops. Pause. A whirring. Clunk, click. The lift coming back down. Step 7. I grab the saucepan, empty it, get out of bed. I run. My legs are jelly. My head's all over the place. The air is foul, thick with gas. Quick, get to the lift. Back against the wall. Grip the saucepan. Stay awake. It's coming down. Here it comes. Here he comes. Gdunk, gdunk. Get ready. The door's opening. Raise the saucepan. Ready to strike. Ready. Ready? Nothing happens. Wait. Come on. Where are you? Nothing. Where are you? I stood there for a long time. Back to the wall, saucepan raised, heart beating hard, hazy head wrapped in plastic and wet cloth, eyes streaming. And I knew he wasn't there. He wasn't in the lift. I'd failed. I knew it. Eventually, I had to face up to it. I stepped away from the wall and looked inside the lift. The only thing in there, positioned carefully in the middle of the floor, was a grubby 10-pound note, folded into the shape of a butterfly. It was my 10-pound note. I don't know how I knew. I just knew. It was the 10-pound note I'd had in my sock when he got me. The one he'd taken from me a lifetime ago. Now everything is really bad, and it's all my fault. Everyone, except Jenny and Russell, hates my guts for putting them through another dose of gas. Even Russell was a bit frosty for a while. "You should have discussed it with me," he said. "You would have told me not to do it." "Perhaps." "You would. I know you would. That's why I didn't tell you." "Well, anyway, it's done now." "It's done. All right." The food stopped again. The heating's off. We don't even have a clock anymore. And that's not the worst of it. It's not even close to the worst of it. This morning, something really terrible happened. He raised the punishment to another level. Even now, I can still hardly believe it. I was lying in bed, shivering, trying to work out what I felt worse about. The cold, the hunger, the emptiness in my head, the ache in my bladder. There wasn't much I could do about the first 3, so I decided to act on the 4th. I got out of bed, wrapped the blankets around my shoulders, and started for the bathroom. As I left my room, I saw Bird standing over by the lift. He looked across at me, then quickly looked away, making a big show of ignoring me. I muttered something under my breath. I wasted 10 seconds or so staring moodily at his back. Then Fred loped down the corridor towards the kitchen, and I turned my attention to him, shirtless, pale and tired. He nodded at me, but didn't say anything. I waited for him to pass, and was just about to turn down the corridor when I heard the lift coming down. I paused. I knew it was going to be empty, foodless, but I still had to wait and see. The lift is the thing. The thing. It's impossible to resist. You can't ignore it. It's like checking your pockets for cash when you know they're empty. You've already been through them twice. You know they're empty, but you still have to check them again just in case. Anyway, the lift came down. The door opened. It wasn't empty. There was a dog there. I've seen some scary-looking dogs in my time, but this, God, this was something else. A Doberman, one of those big, ugly ones. Dark brown, nearly black. Long head, small, pointy ears, powerful shoulders. Skinny, bony, half-starved, burning eyes, bared teeth, snarling black lips. We all froze. Bird, Fred, me, the dog. For about half a second, nothing happened. The dog just stood there, staring at us, tall, rigid, and silent. And the three of us just stood there too, rooted to that spot, staring back at it. And then, without a sound, the dog shot out of the lift and launched itself at Bird. No growling, no barking, nothing. Just a black streak and a flash of wicked teeth. It was heartbreaking. Bird twisted away and threw his hands up to protect his throat. But the dog was on him like a guided missile. It pumped up and sank its teeth into his neck, just above the shoulder, and Bird screamed. And Bird screamed and fell to the floor with the dog on top of him. I couldn't move. I was petrified. But Fred was already up and running. Before I knew what was happening, he was halfway across the corridor, whipping the belt from his trousers as he ran, heading for Bird and the dog. Bird was sobbing now, a terrible, gut-wrenching sound. I could hear teeth on the bone. The dog was gnawing on his neck. There was blood all over the place. Fred didn't hesitate for a second. He just ran up to the Bird and the dog and looped his belt around the Doberman's throat. He pulled his knee on the dog's back and pulled the belt tight, twisting it in his hands. Then he heaved, pulling upwards and back, tightening the belt as he pulled. The dog jerked up in the air, twisting and snapping like a crazy thing, and then Fred swung it round and hammered it down on the floor. Before the dog had a chance to get up again, Fred dropped down on top of it and grabbed its snout in one huge hand, clamping its mouth shut. He hooked his other arm around the dog's neck, then let go of the snout, locking his arms together, gritted his teeth and squeezed. Tighter and tighter, pressing down on the dog's head, crushing its throat. Choking, pressing, crushing. The dog struggled horribly, kicking its legs and flexing its body, but Fred had all his weight on it now. The dog couldn't move, couldn't bite, couldn't breathe. Fred squeezed harder, groaning and straining, forcing the dog's head down with all his strength, until eventually I heard a dull snap, and the beast went limp. Fred didn't let go. He sat there for a minute or so, drenched in sweat, still gripping the dog's head, making it absolutely sure it was dead. Then, with a final sigh, he let go. The lifeless Doberman slumped to the floor, its head flopping loosely on its broken neck. Fred looked at it for a moment, no expression in his eyes. Then he stood up, dragged the dead dog into the lift, and threw it dismissively into the corner. The others had come out now. Jenny, Anya, Russell. They were standing huddled together at the end of the corridor, their eyes shocked with fear and disbelief. Jenny was crying, and Anya was staring, open-mouthed, at Bird. Bird wasn't moving. He lay on the floor with his knees pulled up to his chest and his arms cradled over his head. Russell shuffled over to him. I crossed over to Fred. "You all right?" I asked. "Yeah," he said, panting. He wiped sweat from his face and glanced inside the lift. The dead Doberman was splayed out on its side. Its ears were laid back, and its mouth was hanging open, revealing 2 rows of blood-flecked yellow teeth. "Shit," I said. Fred laid his hand on my shoulder. "Never a dull moment, eh? Bird's not dead. He's hurt quite badly, but he's not dead. He's got a nasty gaping wound in his neck, and he's lost a lot of blood." Russell cleaned the wound with water, then left it to bleed. Anya was all for bandaging it, but Russell said it's best to let it bleed. It helps to clean the wound, apparently. "Will he be all right?" I asked him. Russell shrugged. "It's a nasty bite, and it's near the head. But as long as it doesn't get infected, he should be okay." "What happens if it does get infected?" "Don't ask." "Is there anything we can do?" "He needs antibiotics." "No chance. Anything else?" Russell laughed humorlessly. "We could always try praying." So that was Monday, or Tuesday, or Wednesday. That was today. Now it's nearly midnight, and everything is quiet. I'm hungry. I'm cold. I'm all mixed up. Was it my fault? He sent down the dog? Am I to blame for Bird getting hurt? Or would it have happened anyway? I don't know. I really don't know. But whatever the answer is, I'm not going to feel bad about myself. Can't afford to. I can't blame myself. I mean, you do what you do, don't you? You just do it. What else can you do? What would you do? If you were me, what would you do? Give up? Would you just give up? Would you lie down and cry? Would you just lie down and take what's coming? Take what you're given? Take it? Maybe I should? Maybe I should just give up. Give in. Here, have my life. Go on. Take it. Do what you want with it. I don't care. I don't know. Maybe I should try apologizing again, only this time add a bit more grovel to it. I could get down on my knees, close my eyes, tell him how wonderful he is. On second thought, I think I'd just rather give up.